insurance plan that connects you to Dignity Health affiliated doctors and hospitals. With hundreds of locations, from Woodland to Elk Grove to Folsom and everywhere in between, it's easy to find care that fits your schedule. And even better, our CalPERS Health Plan partners are among the most affordable this year. For a complete list of plans and affiliated doctors, visit dignityhealth.org/open enrollment. Dignity Health. Hello, human kindness.
South to Dixon, in between Sacramento and Vacaville on I-80 next to Cattleman Steakhouse. Highway 80 Dispensary is now open with a grand opening sale so big you'll scream. Join us October 30th for 35 to 45% off and buy two, get one deals, including doorbuster deals, Jerome Baker live glass blowing, vendor booths, and more. October 30th only. Order online now for 25% off at highway80.com.
October is National Liver Awareness Month, and Sunrise Natural Foods is the place to find both food and supplements that support liver health. Hi, it's Rico from K-Hits. This month, Sunrise Natural Foods is offering 30% off the entire line of products from Now Foods. This includes the Now Liver Refresh, which is a supplement combining milk thistle extract and a unique herb enzyme blend to promote optimal liver health. Also 30% off this month are products from Life Extension. Their zinc caps support maximum immune health. The vitamin D3 supplements from Life Extension also help with calcium absorption and may be very beneficial to those with vitamin D deficiency. You can also find foods to support liver health. From cruciferous veggies to fruits and nuts, there are many organic options available at Sunrise Natural Foods. So get 30% off Now Foods and Life Extension products this month only, and only at Sunrise Natural Foods in Roseville and Auburn. Online at sunrisenaturalfoods.net.
And they're worried they're stuck with it. One that costs too much or doesn't meet their needs, or for whatever reason, they're just not happy with it. If that is you, some great news. There really is another choice. It's called MediShare, and it's such a great option, especially if you're self-employed, changing jobs, or part of the gig economy. Here's what you get when you switch to MediShare. First, huge savings. The typical family saves $500 a month. You also get a massive doctor network, or you can just use the doctor of your choice, or MediShare's free 24/7 telehealth option. And you get to be part of something you can believe in. MediShare is a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills. No wonder MediShare gets double the customer satisfaction ratings compared with typical health insurance. So no, you are not stuck. You've got a great alternative. Call now. 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
William Shatner, a.k.a. Captain Kirk, will be blasting into space for real aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket. That voyage is expected to last about 10 minutes, and this will make Shatner the oldest person to have flown to space at the age of 90. That rocket is going to take off on Tuesday. And
let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton. With Big C, this is Charlton. Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network and another one network in the United States of America. Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And a lot of good boys who follow sports and all fair level boys today. The beautiful October the 8th, 2021. Give us some praise. Welcome to the show. It's all fair and level war. I really appreciate it. Today's a little bit different show. There's so many people that are interested in what's going on. We have Big C's Friday Night Lights. We have some college football for you. We also have the NFL kicking off that Big C's picks. And also some Major League Baseball. Going to do an abbreviated show today. There's a lot of things going on with the San Francisco Giants and the LA Dodgers over here in beautiful downtown San Francisco. It's all fair and love and war. Make sure everyone stays safe on your Friday Night Lights. Really appreciate it. Gonna do it. People keep saying, man, what's this guy over here yelling? It's all fair and love and war doing the Big C Sports Podcast. I'm gonna take what's called the Big C Ball, also known as the Big C Timeout. And when I come back, I'm gonna get into some high school football, the national top 10 through Big C Sports, and awarding to the former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. I'm back from the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 17 podcast applications all over the universe. Really appreciate that. I want to say welcome to the show. We have a beautiful day today in Northern California, powered all around the world by 17 podcast applications from Google, Alexa, Spotify, speaker applications, on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Castbox Podcast, Diesel Podcast, carrying Big City Sports Podcast. Also, we have Jules Bond out of London, England. We have Podcast Addict, Pod Chaser, Podtail Podcast, Hubhopper Podcast, also Stitcher Podcast, Radio Online Podcast, and Luminary Podcast. Word has it, Facebook is also going to start carrying Big City Sports Podcast. Still got to get some affirmation on Mark Zuckerberg and how that goes. I read him just give me the $10 million. Who cares if you want to carry the podcast? Just give me the $10 million, Mark Zuckerberg. It's all fair and love it, boy. You know it's coming. Also, Big City Sports Podcast carried on 4 applications all over the universe. Really appreciate that Big City Sports Podcast has grown so much. I wanted to say tonight I'm going to do a little bit different show, abbreviated show tonight. There's a lot of things happening in Northern California. I want to make sure I always pay homage to my family legacy, as everybody comes from somebody. You don't need legal, what's it called, 123familylegacy.com or whatever those .coms are. Ours is free. You just put it in the Big C. Give me some praise. Ancestry.com is free. Big C Sports, my family legacy. I started by honoring Mama, the matriarch of the family. She took everybody and made us all stay together through thick and thin, all fair and level with a lot of prayer. Also, the patriarch of the family, my great-grandfather, Pop, he also was a former Negro League baseball player, and then Muddia, and he was a seer. She could see things and tell us what's going to happen and kept us out of a lot of trouble. Even to this day, keeps me out of trouble all fair and level war. My grandfather, Hezekiah, also had the ability to see things that people didn't believe him at times, but it's like sometimes you just can't say, well, I believe you. It's all fair and level war. My mother, a beautiful mother who started a Head Start program in Northern California, also had us lead the league championship in Little League Baseball. Give her some praise. A mother teaching also Head Start and helping a Little League Baseball team win a league championship. That's all fair and level war. And then on my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, who was a pastor, also had service stations in Oakland, California. And then my grandmother, Alberta Curry, the matriarch on my father's side, and she was amazing helping my grandfather with the church and also business. When my father retired, former Air Force, United States Air Force, fighter pilot and chief mechanic, did a lot of things to keep airplanes flying in the sky. It's all fair and level war. And my brother, Todd, I channel his voice. That's why my voice is so loud, because he was always loud. Nobody what he does. That's why I say, let's get ready to rumble. People thought he was much in front of that. That was actually Todd. He was always talk that way when he got into the shower. Let's get ready to rumble. We always thought it was funny. And now you know boxers talk about it all the time too. Welcome to the show, Espy Dominated Big C Sports Podcast. Why Espy Dominated? No scripts, no producer, no three-way teleprompters. People say, yeah, that's painfully obvious, Charlton, but still give me some praise. You do it. You try to do it. Number one, I produce. I always pay homage to my son, Malcolm, who always gives me stats, especially NBA stats, all friend level war. My daughter, Daisy, she had helped me set up at times at sporting events and Big C in the past. So many people I really want to pay homage to with Big C Sports. Today's abbreviated show because baseball is starting very soon in San Francisco. I always pay homage to God. As I say, let's get ready to rumble. I produce. Number 2, I direct the topics. Number 3, I broadcast every show. Number 4, I do the sound effects. Excuse me, did I break the concentration? I do the commercials outside of what the agency does. Really appreciate that. I provide the stats, and that's why the Giants and the Dodgers are playing tonight in San Francisco, because I have some good old boys. Like, sometimes a strike is a ball, sometimes a ball is a strike. It depends on what team you want to win. All fair. All we want to do is win, we'll win no matter what. And then I do the storytelling. Did I break the concentration? Guess who's coming to dinner? I do the play-by-play. Touchdown! Home run! 3-point play! Oh, man, really? Keep going all the way. It's all fair and level war on the streets of San Francisco. Then I upload every show to 17 podcast applications all over the world. I don't do it myself. The agency does it. And then I have 4 TV platforms that follow Big C Sports also. I've never missed a show since starting Big C Sports September the 12th, 2015. Give that some praise. Can anybody say they never missed a show in that many years? I always say honor God. No other sports show honors God. I say one of my favorite verses in the Bible is Genesis 13:15, where God said, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. Another great verse in the Bible is the book of James 4 verse 2. It says, we have not because we ask not. So just ask. Like I was asking, can I do my broadcast on the streets of San Francisco? Some people said no. Some people said it's all fair level war. And some people just look at you strange. It's all fair level war. Really appreciate doing things I will never look strange at our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And you can definitely get some help for our veterans and their loved ones. Give our first responders some praise. Give them all praise. Everybody says we don't want to take our vaccine, but when their butts get sick, they want to go to the doctor, and they want the first responders to treat them first. Hey, go get your vaccine. Don't wait until you get in trouble. All fair and love and war. I also want to say, very happy to be affiliated with Valley Homes Weekly TV on Dish TV, Direct TV. The first place TV of the San Francisco Giants. Anyone can grandstand. I've been saying that for the last year. First place, San Francisco Giants. And that's the same team that's going to win the World Series this year. At least that's what a birdie told me. But that's the team we've been honoring, paying homage to the Giants. That's why I want that media passes all fair and love and war. For those of you that go to the game, just tell them Big C Central. It's all fair and love and war. Tell them follow Big C Sports Podcast. Rumor has it you may get a discount. I don't know a discount on what. Hopefully it's a discount on something, if that makes sense to you. Tell them Big C Central. And then the Big C Real Estate Dating App. For those of you who are out there swiping left and swiping right, it has to be a headache. You don't know who you lip locking with. They could have been lip locking. You might be the fifth date they had that day. I know people that say they date 20 people a month. Lip locking with strangers. A house, you know where that house is. It always finds its way back home. You don't know who you've been with. There's sometimes like a fish in the bottom of the lake sucking on all the worms they see. You don't want to be kissing lip locking with somebody sucking on worms before you showed up. This is all fair and love and war with the Big C dating app. That house is always there. It never leaves you. It never forsakes you. It's always there as long as you got the right key. If you got the right key, you can probably get in. Our goal is to recruit 10,000 real estate agents and brokers all over this country to help put people back to work. And I want to say Malik Robinson, and we're going to be doing some work with the great Malik Robinson, and he's been doing some great things in financial planning in Northern California. Really look forward to dealing with that coming up later this month. But also, we want to make sure that we put people on TV for their houses and real estate deals, just like McDonald's does it, Nike does it, car dealerships are doing it, sports teams doing it. And that TV and real estate works for you. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. You'll have some opportunities there with Big C Team. Also, I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like God said in Genesis 1-3, play Big C Sports Podcast. Oh, hold on, producer. That's let there be light. Don't laugh now. You got to be much. Okay, I'm just joking. It's Friday. Can you laugh on Friday? That's Friday. Give Friday some praise. God said, let there be light. Genesis 1-3. I'm trying to have a little bit of fun, but some people have no personality. It's all fair and never war. I really want to say also the segment sponsored by Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% on its game. You sports fans, Giants fans, Dodgers fans, when you're at the big game, eat the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all these exotic meats. It tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands. I can guarantee you that. A lot of things in life, I'm sure they taste better in your mouth than it does in your hand. Kind of like a kid sucking on snot. Why do people always like the snot out of a kid's nose? That kid knows that snot tastes good. It has a lot of protein, has a lot of vitamin C in it. So when your kids are snotting, don't take that handkerchief and wipe the nose. Let them tap that snot because it tastes good and it's good for their health. At least that's what I was told by some kids. I don't know if the kids, if that makes sense. We've all been a kid at times. I feel like a kid all fair and level up. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause and come back after I tell you this segment also sponsored by Super Draft Pro Fantasy Sports and Caesars Entertainment all-purpose website. Go to superdraftpro.com/Big C Sports. You also know that it is featured in Sports Illustrated, Yahoo Sports, Associated Press, RotoWire, Sportico. Subscribe to unlock the exclusive sports betting experiences with Super Draft Pro, the official partner of Caesars Entertainment. Go to superdraftpro.com/Big C Sports. It's all fair and level war. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout, in the words of the former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator. I'll be back. All right, we're back to the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 17 podcast applications and also 4 TV applications It's all fair and level war. You can follow Big C Sports all around the world, and I really do appreciate the growth we have with Big C Sports. I'm going to get into Big C's Friday Night Lights. For all you high school kids, please, don't let your friends drink and drive. If you're going to go to a game, as a lot of young people like to go to the game on Friday night, please do not let anyone drink and drive. I want to make sure that Big C Sports gives that PSA out there to make sure that when you go to the game and say, "We got spirit," yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you? All people have a greater time when you get home. So please do not let your high school friends drink or drive. That's coming to you from Big C Sports Podcast. Number 1 in the country, give them some praise. Number 1, high school football team in the country, Model Day of Santa Ana. They are 4-0. Number 2, IMG Academy out of Bradenton, Florida. They are 5-0 on the season, followed by number 3, Westlake High School of Austin, Texas. Them good old boys are also 5-0 on the season. And then you got to get into Thompson of Alabama. They're 7-0 on the season. Give them some praise. Number 5, St. John Bosco of Bellflower, California. They're 5-1, but they lost last week. The Trinity League rival, it was Model Day of Santa Ana, 42-21. But those two teams have blasted everybody from East Coast to West Coast. So they're going to keep St. John Bosco at number 5 in the country at 5-1. Number 6, Virgin Catholic, Oradell, New Jersey. They are 5-0 on the season, so they're going to put them in Big C's top 10. Number 7, Collinsville of Suwanee, Georgia. Them Gunner boys started the season earlier. They're 7-0 on the season. Number 8, Servite High School, Anaheim. They are 6-0, also a part of the Trinity League with Model Day and also St. John Bosco of Bellflower, California. Really want to give them some praise. A lot of good old boys playing good high school football all over the country. Number 9, Center Grove out of Greenwood. They are 7-0 on the season. Number 10, Katy of Katy, Texas. Them good old boys. Give them all some praise. That's Big C's Friday Night Lights high school football top 10. I want to also say the top 2 teams in Northern California are playing tonight, which is De La Salle of Concord, California. They are in Northern California taking on Folsom, not Folsom Prison, but Folsom High School. And they play, I think Folsom's been in 4 of the last 8 state championship games. De La Salle has been in 12 in a row state championship games. De La Salle hasn't lost to a Northern California team from the Sackwaw King section since 1982. And that's going back a long, long time. Well, of course, these kids weren't born at that time, but that's a big game up at Folsom. A lot of people are expecting De La Salle to fall finally to a Sackwaw King section team for the first time since 1982 when they started going undefeated. They lost last week to a power out of Maryland, the St. Francis High School of Maryland, another school that's a lot like Model Day and the IMG Academy. Also De La Salle, they lost that one 42-28. Folsom's closest game this year was to Pittsburgh High School. They won 38-17. Also, that Pittsburgh High School is in the same section, North Hill section, with De La Salle. So we'll see what happens. It's all fair and level war. Should be good high school football kicking off all over the country. As I say to everybody, if you're going to drink, please do not drive. Don't let people drink and drive. We're doing an abbreviated show today on Big C Sports. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to ask you, are you ready for some college football? And hopefully you are. In the words of the former California governor and Terminator Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. Back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports all around the world on 17 podcast applications and 4 TV applications. Coming to you in an abbreviated show, Northern California, getting ready for the Giants and Dodgers to throw out the first pitch very soon. But I just brought you Big C's Friday Night Lights. Now we're going to lean into some college football. A lot of big games coming up this weekend in college football. I'm telling you, there's a lot of games with 19 ranked teams in action, 3 significant games in the top 25. Some upsets may happen. But we got to look at some teams that are maybe on the upset warning. You got to pay attention to Ohio State, BYU, Michigan, and Notre Dame. They happen to have, they have their work cut out for them this week. It's all fair and level war. But let me start with this big game down in Texas. It's called the Oklahoma-Texas rivalry. It's called the Red River Shootout or Showdown, all fair and level war. They do it at the fairground, the State Fair in Texas. It's number 6 Oklahoma versus number 21 Texas. And the Sooners are a 3.5-point favorite with a noontime takeoff on ABC Sports. And it's also hard to know which team you're going to see in the Red River Showdown. It's Texas, the team that dropped 70 points on Texas Tech. My goodness, they were really beating good old boys up. And then on the other hand, they struggled against TCU. It's Oklahoma playing these close cards. I mean, they played so many close games this year, But when you think about it, they're a little bit flawed at times. My money's still on Oklahoma and Coach Lincoln Riley unleashing their running backs against his team's first-ranked opponent this season. Their first-ranked opponent. That's Oklahoma's learned to have a schedule like an SEC team. They're playing the ranked team. That's not true. A lot of those teams are very good. All friend level war. I think Texas is still trying to find its way. I know Sarkisian took more money to go to Texas, but this is Lincoln Riley territory. These former schools that will soon be in the SEC, they might realize they've had a better luck staying in the Big 12 all fair and level war. Give them some praise. The River Shootout or Showdown, however they call it, it's all fair and level war. I'm going to also bring in number 2 Georgia at number 18 Auburn, and the Bulldogs are favored by 15. I think that's a joke. I don't think anyone's going to beat Auburn by 15. You know, it's bought by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with Auburn's exotic meat. Last I heard, a bulldog and a war eagle or a tiger, they're all exotic meat. They don't blame me. I eat fresh chicken burgers on them fish. But the best way for Georgia to prevent quarterback Bo Nix from doing some more magic against him is keep him on the sideline. That's what their defense has been doing. Georgia's registered 2 shutouts the last 2 games. They're going to be very tough to move the ball against. But Nix in that Auburn run game and the pass game should be able to move the ball up and down the field. I think 15 points is way too much. I still give Georgia a chance to win, maybe by 12, if that's going out on a limb for your all-friend level war. The big game also in the Big Ten is going to be number 4 Penn State at number 3 Iowa. It's a 4 p.m. kickoff on Fox Sports. And my pick here is Penn State. I think they're a little bit more talented. They've even been, in just my opinion, more battle-tested with that game that they had against Auburn in the SEC. And they brought them up to Penn State, Happy Valley, and Penn State walked away with the win. You know, the crowd's going to be amazing over there at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa. You can imagine that. I love the team they have with the stadium, and the team plays homage to the kids that are in the hospital. Be careful out here on the streets of San Francisco because some people think they're in the drag race. It's all fair and level war, and the police are nowhere to be seen, but you can't get a parking ticket. That doesn't make any sense to me. You get a parking ticket, but a guy can drive by at 100 miles per hour on a motorcycle, and nobody even stops him. It's all fair. Maybe that's a place to go. But Penn State and Iowa, when you think about it, I really like Penn State in this game. It's hard to pick against Iowa at home, but they seem a little bit more battle-tested. You know, I think about quarterback Sean Clifford on the road in a spot like this. At the beginning of the year, Clifford struggled on the road against Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a good defense, even though they were blown out by Notre Dame. This Iowa defense is just as strong. And it comes down to which team makes the fewest mistakes. I'm still going to go with Penn State getting it maybe by a field goal because I just think they're more battle-tested than Iowa. Give them some praise. Don't boo me. It's just an opinion. I'm going to go number 9, Michigan at Nebraska. Michigan's a 2.5-point favorite. It's 7:30 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on ABC Sports. I'm going to think that Michigan is 5-0 for a reason. They're ranked in the top 10 for a reason. Who's got it better than us? The great Jim Harbaugh says. Nobody. And Nebraska don't either. Nebraska is 3-3. They had a loss to Illinois, and they had a tough go. They're not the Tom Osborne Nebraska Cornhuskers, but the Huskers, they may cover the spread in this one. I doubt it. It's 2.5 points. I'm going to give Michigan maybe even a touchdown win in this. Give them some praise, Jim Harbaugh. I think Michigan's going to be back in a big way with a win over Nebraska. Number 1, Alabama at Texas A&M at Kyle Stadium. Over 102,000 fans will be on their feet down in Texas for the first half. The second half, they might try to clear it out. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff night game on CBS Sports, and it's going to be the best defense Alabama's faced since playing Florida. With the Aggies' inability to move the football on offense, going to give Alabama another victory, in my opinion. Alabama's tough to handle. They might even be playing some of the work. They could probably beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I doubt it, guys. Don't throw stones. I'm just joking. Can you take a joke, Jacksonville? All fair and level war. I think the Aggies get knocked out again. Alabama's 17.5-point favorite, and they'll probably get it. Bryce Young is my early pick for All-American. It's all fair and level war. And you got a big game also with BYU taking on Boise State. And that's a game. BYU's number 10 in the country. Going to be a home game in the Wasatch Mountain. Boise State barely lost to Oklahoma State. They missed a field goal with no time left. And then they had a game against Central Florida where they lost at the last minutes of the game. So Boise State's primed for an upset. I'm not saying they'll upset BYU, but if anyone can, this is probably the last chance BYU has at losing a game this weekend. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. It should be good college football in the Pac-12, USC and Utah. Got to get them good old boys working at USC, those Trojans. Dun, 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 dun. What's a Ute? A Ute's a Native American tribe. What's a Trojan? Trojan man. It just depends on your perspective. The double entendre. Trojan man. Well, Trojan man, Trojan horse, whatever it is, they better find a way to win this game. We'll take the Big C off, also known as the Big C timeout. In the words of the former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and Terminator, I'll be back. All right, we are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from the streets of San Francisco. Hopefully I don't get parking tickets. I got media pass, all fair level war. It's all fair level war. You got to be careful in the streets of San Francisco. People drive by at 90,000 miles per hour. It's like William Shatner launching into space. It's the final frontier. Hopefully not. He's 90 years old. It's all fair level war. Are you ready for some football? Of course you are. Last night it started up in the Great Pacific Northwest. The LA Rams, they flew in to Seattle in the second. The game was sponsored by the Big C Burgers. It's a tasty burger and it comes with what other exotic meat. Last I heard, a ram and a Seahawk are exotic meat, if that makes sense to you. And the Rams were a little bit more exotic. They got a 26-17 win up at Lumen Field, but with a rocking house. And then Russell Houdini Wilson has a hitch in his giddy up. I guess he has a bruised finger on his throwing hand, so he wasn't able to finish the game. And he has obviously all the hopes for Seattle riding, keeping touchdown Russell Houdini Wilson healthy. So he has to find a way. Well, the doctors have to find a way. Rumor had that he was in Los Angeles having a specialist look at his hands. I guess they don't have specialists in Seattle. I guess supposed to be sleepers in Seattle, but they didn't have specialists to check on Russell Houdini Wilson's hand all fair and level war. Doing the show today, I'm going to bring you Big C's picks for Sunday NFL football. Are you ready for the football? We're going to start off across the pond at Tottenham Stadium in Hotspur Stadium in London, where they also follow Big C Sports in London, England. It's a 9:30 a.m. kickoff East Coast time on the NFL Network. And the Falcons are favored by 3. The over-under is 46. When you think about the impact of the Jets, you know, the Jets did their thing getting the win over Tennessee. It was overtime. Give them some praise. Give them some praise. Robert Saleh has seen the efforts of his defensive stance. Now, they're 1-3, and the Falcons are 1-3. I'm going to go with the Jets to win this game because it took a jet to get to the stadium. Just a clue. That's a prop betting joke. You don't have to laugh at that. If a jet took him to the game, maybe a jet should take it back home. It's all fair level. It's Friday. But I think about it. When you think about the cornerback, Michael Carter II playing like above-average starters, Arthur Smith's offensive impact is tougher to see why his tenure in Atlanta. But Matt Ryan is coming off his best game by far in the system. Zach Wilson out of BYU is more likely to be a quarterback that makes mistakes over in London across the pond. But that hasn't hurt them in the game against the Titans. I think they're just going to still ride high from that win over the Titans. I think they're going to go to London and get that win over the Falcons. Just my opinion. I'm also going to bring you up to the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. It's at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 1 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports. The Vikings are a 9.5-point favorite. You don't say. Sounds like a prop bet special. The over-under is 49. That's a lot for the NFL team. It's the same Lions team that lost by a historic field goal to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not buying that, but I'm going to say one thing is to have less talent. The rest of the league is on top of that. It's another thing to have little talent and then becoming one of the most injury-plagued teams in football. Detroit has some issues. Minnesota's kryptonite appears to be an ineffective pass rush. It's not a concern. I think Jared Goff is going to be in position to have a whole lot of yards, but I still think the Vikings win this game. It's all fair level. The New Orleans Saints, they are 2-2. Washington football team is also 2-2. What a game that should be at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. And the Saints go marching in. Who that say they're going to beat them Saints? Well, they're a 2-point favorite. The over-under 44. The old side Peyton would have looked at this matchup and said, we'll get 44 on offense on our own. But Jameis Winston struggled a little bit. I think he'll come back and have a bounce-back game. Washington's defense has also struggled, especially in the back end, leading to a lot of confusion. They should have a good crowd on hand. Not as loud as if Harley Davidson motorcycle is going by the Big C Sports podcast. But doesn't that good old boy sound good? Give that Harley Davidson some praise. Give him praise with all fair and level war. I think
Jameis Winston, if he throws the ball more than 30 times, I think it gives the Saints a chance to win that game because he's also a threat to run. I really like him. Now, Taylor Heineke, he's risky. He gets picked off at times. I'm still going with the Saints. I think Peyton has a winning strategy and is going to go there and they're going to win that game. I'm going to take you to another game that a lot of good old boys may be somewhat down on this year. The New England Patriots, they are at 1-3. Bill Belichick 1-3. I guess he's the reason that Tom Brady won all those Super Bowls, isn't he? 1-3 in the season. The Texans are 1-3. You don't say. NRG Stadium in Houston, 1 p.m. Kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. The Patriots are 9-point favorites. Are you buying that? They don't score a lot of points. The over-under is 40. When you think about it, the Patriots secondary to employ last week's game plan against Tom Brady bodes well for the rest of the season. But Brady was pressing in that game. Plus it was raining. The crowd was amazing. Don't look at last week's game and say that New England's back. The New England can do a lot of things on defense better than Houston can, I think. But they have David Mills to deal with, scrambling. The Texans have played 10 quarters with the rookie third rounder at quarterback scoring only 16 total points. But New England doesn't strike me as a juggernaut. It feels like they're going to win the game, but I don't think 9 points. 9 points is a lot. But hey, give them some praise. If you get 9 points, give them praise. Tampa Bay Buccaneers defending Super Bowl champions, 3-1 versus the Miami Dolphins. It's an all Florida Bienvenido, Florida. It's all Florida rally. A big pep rally down there at the game, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. 1 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. They're giving the Dolphins 10 points. The over-under is 48. New England hasn't scored a lot of points lately. They got beat down by the Rams, and then they went to New England. I'm saying Tampa Bay got beat down by the Rams, went to New England, and didn't score a lot of points. Would have lost had it not been for a rain-soaked field goal, and it hit the upright. But I think they're ready to win. They're ready to step up. But they're all banged up on defense. Even Richard Sherman, the starter, he only played 5 games last year. So each of the Buccaneers games this season, Tampa's opponents have been given a lot of credit for keeping it close. In the Rams winning outright, but 2021, they're not as good right now. Miami has all sorts of problems. Brian Flores' coverage and cornerbacks are suited to put a tarp over Tom Brady. They rush the quarterback a lot. Their passing attack is stood pretty good. The Patriots rushed a lot on Brady last week in the rain, of course, in an emotional game. But Tampa has a lot of injuries in the secondary. Again, Richard Sherman's playing. He's a starter. I told you about their injuries. I think that, 10 points is a lot. I got Tampa Bay winning, but 10 points is a lot to give them. I think they'll win, but they're not going to win by 10 points. Green Bay, 3-1, at Cincinnati, 3-1. This is a game that Joe Burrow and the crowd's going to be nuts. I like Aaron Rodgers, Paul Brown Stadium, 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox. The Packers are favored by 3. Man, that's a shaky 3, though, because the secondary for Green Bay's banged up. But listen, relax. They have touchdown Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to be outdueled by a good old boy and Joe Burrow. I'm going with touchdown Aaron Rodgers. Teams that enter week 5 as a top defense. Think about it. This team in Green Bay, they're banged up. Cincinnati's going to throw the football all over the place. The Bengals' underrated front by Larry Ogunjobi and then Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson should get some help this week with back-end Jesse Bates. And I think it's going to help returning to practice. But the Packers can move the ball consistently. They have touchdown Aaron Rodgers. They know how to throw the football. They can run the football well. I just don't see Green Bay dropping that game. I'm going to go to Green Bay and touchdown Eric Rodgers. Even if Crosby has to kick a field goal to win it, I got Green Bay in that one. The Denver Broncos and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Denver's 1-3. Touchdown Teddy Bridgewater has a concussion. The Steelers are 1-3. And we got a feeling the Steelers might pull this one out. Heinz Field, Pittsburgh, 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports. It's a pick'em game. The over-under is 40. There's a lot we don't know about this game as far as availability, but Big Ben is going to be playing. They got to run the ball, Najee Harris. They got to find a way to run the football. Man, I don't see Mike Thomas' team going to 1-4. That's the only reason I'm saying the Steelers win this game. If touchdown Teddy Bridgewater was playing, I would go with the Denver Broncos, but he's not. I think the Steelers got to find a way to run the ball, get Big Ben in short passing games, get some yards after the catch, and see what happens. If Teddy Bridgewater plays, then I go with the Denver Broncos. If he's not playing, I think the Steelers get the win. All fair and level work. Carolina Panthers, 3-1, and the Eagles are 1-3 at Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina. 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports. And the Panthers are a 3-point favorite. The over-under 45. If you think about the return to the field by the Eagles left tackle, Jordan Maletta, listen, the Eagles are giving up 40 points in the last couple of games. They're not going to outscore Carolina. Carolina's going to win this one in a big way. It's a 3-point favorite. They'll probably win by a touchdown. I think Carolina is a very solid defense. They were up against it with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are good. I mean, the Cowboys are a good team. A lot of the Panthers have a lot of creative blitz packages. I think they'll find enough blitzing to take care of the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts will have a big game, but I don't have a lot of faith in the Eagles. Plus, Carolina's at home. It's all fair level war. I trust Matt Rule more than Nick Sirianni, and I think Sam Darnold will hold up against that Eagles rush. I'm still going to go with the Carolina Panthers. It's brought up by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all the exotic meat, and a Panther and Eagle are exotic meat. Tennessee Titans at Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee's 2-2, and the Jaguars are 0-4. TIAA Bank Stadium, Jacksonville, Florida. All the stuff that Urban Meyer's been. What man doesn't want somebody dancing on his lap? For ye who without sin never had somebody dance on your lap, cast the first stone. I can't believe all these people. He should be fired. How dare he want a woman to dance on his lap? How dare he want a woman to dance on his lap? What man doesn't want a woman dancing on his lap? Maybe that's just how they get down. It's all fair and love and war. A lot of garbage thing. I can't believe he had a woman dancing on his lap. They have strip clubs all over the country for a reason. Don't have too many smoke and mirrors. Anyone criticizing him, follow what they do. He's dancing on their laps in the past, if that makes sense to you. He's a human. He's a football coach. Nobody's perfect. I still have my support for Urban Meyer. I don't care what the knuckleheads say. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff East Coast time. Titans figure by 4.5. They'll probably win by a touchdown. A.J. Brown may be shaken up, may not be starting. Julio Jones, don't know the status of him. But the Titans' offensive system, hand off the touchdown. I mean, if you got this good boy named Henry, and the football's not heavy, give him the ball. I know they had a tough loss last week to the Jets. Ryan Tannehill struggling. He's holding the ball too long. They'll fix it against Jacksonville. Okay, that's what the doctor ordered. Think about it. It's a bad sign when players like Miles Jack, Josh Allen, and Shaq Griffin look worse in this system than they did under previous coaches. You just got to go, in my opinion. It's going to be a big win by the Tennessee Titans. They're going to run that good old boy named Henry. And Henry's going to score. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. He'll probably have at least 3 touchdowns on the day. The big game on the West, oh my goodness, the big game on the West Coast, Los Angeles Chargers 3-1. Cleveland, this is not for you. Cleveland Browns coming out to California, 3-1, SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. 4:05 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. The Chargers are favored by 2. The Lightning Bolts favored by 2. Hey, they shouldn't have a weather delay. Aren't they inside of a dome? Why would they have a weather delay against the Raiders? Shenanigans going on in that game. I'm going with the Chargers to beat Cleveland. Cleveland has a better running game. But the Chargers are, I tell you, touchdown Justin Herbert's doing his thing. Baker Mayfield has a hitch in the shoulder, hitching his giddy up. Cleveland can win if they run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. But I don't think they're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to try to get Mayfield to show that his shoulder's okay. I think Justin Herbert's amazing. Los Angeles had 168 ground yards against the Raiders. They can run the ball. It shows that the Chargers, they're a balanced team. But Justin Herbert's the real deal. He's going to outdo Baker Mayfield in this game. And Baker Mayfield's going to try to pass a lot to keep up with him. I think the Chargers get that win. They have a much balanced offense. I'm going to go with the Raiders and the Chicago Bears. The Raiders are 3-1 at Allegiant Stadium. The crowd will be amazing. The Bears are 2-2. Justin Fields, here's your chance. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Hopefully you'll have more success on the field in Vegas than they were giving you when you played against Cleveland earlier in the year. Should be a close game. Raiders 3-1. Bears are 2-2. It's at 4:05 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS. The Bears are getting 5. The over-under is 44. I think Derek Carr's going to have a good game. Didn't play his best against the Chargers. Justin Fields may have to throw more with David Montgomery hurt, but that's not a bad thing. He's a good run-pass option, like he did at Ohio State. I think he'll do fine. The secondary is injured for the Raiders, and they're very vulnerable. But I think the Raiders will be enough at home to win. Getting Derek Carr involved with the passing game, I think it's going to carry the Raiders to a win, maybe a field goal win. Man, I got another big game I want to bring it to you. The San Francisco 49ers down in the desert at the Arizona Cardinals. The Niners are 2-2 on the season. The Cardinals are 4-0. Are they the best team in the NFL? I would say no. But they're the hottest team in the NFL. But Murray, the more he moves around, the more he's going to take a hit. That's just my opinion. State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona, a 4:25 p.m. kickoff, East Coast time on Fox Sports. The 49ers getting 5 points. The over under 50. It's hard to see Shanahan losing 3 in a row. They won on the road. I'm not saying they're going to beat Arizona, but it might come down to a field goal. It's a tough game to pick. Trey Lance is such an unknown. He's a great run-pass option for the 49ers. May give Arizona some fit. Just a thought. And Bosa's going to have to get after Murray. The Cardinals, man, their run defense is his biggest weakness. The Niners got to run, and Trey Lance might be what the doctor ordered. I still think Kyle Shanahan has to open up the offense and not protect Trey Lance. If you're going to lose trying to win, it may come down to a field goal. I think Kyler Murray's playing at an MVP level, and that may carry the Cardinals to another win. It's all fair and love and war. I got to go with the Cardinals winning the close one down in the desert against the 49ers. Unless Trey Lance can pull a rabbit out of his hat. All fair and love and war. The Dallas Cowboys, how about them Cowboys? Taking on the New York Giants. Is the Cowboys 3-1, the Giants 1-3. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. 4:25 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports. The Giants getting 7. Man. Over under 52. Cowboys are strong. Cowboys going to win this probably by 8 points. I just like what they're doing. Dak Prescott's playing like an MVP quarterback. The defense is good. The Giants, man, they went from 4-3, the worst team in football last year, to being 1-3, the best worst team in football, if that makes sense to you. Their stout defensive line could be a little bit stronger. They play the Cowboys well at times, running games. I'm telling you, Ezekiel Ellis got his chest in the win. Kenny Galladay, Saquon Barkley making New York's offense look more dangerous. Daniel Jones playing good football. But I like the Cowboys because they're the Cowboys and they're home. And if you're not cheating, you're not trying in Texas. don't get all iffy about it. You guys those too. I'm going to take you to another big game. Kansas City Chiefs did not punt the football last week against Philadelphia. They're playing the Buffalo Bills. They're 3-1 for Buffalo, 2-2 for Kansas City. Kansas City's defense is not that great, but their offense keeps scoring a lot of points. It's a GEHA field at Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. 8:20 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on NBC Sports, and the Chiefs are favored by 2.5. I think the Chiefs, Buffalo has a good record, but they beat up on some stat teams when you think about it. I'm going with the Chiefs and touchdown Patrick Mahomes to win this game over Josh Allen. The Bills are one of the first teams to slow down the Chiefs' offense in regular season last year. Kansas City now embraces long drives. If their long drives continue the way it did against Philadelphia, I think Kansas City gets the win. The crowd is going to be nuts. They're going to be one of the loudest crowds every Sunday. And then the Bills have looked more complete this year, but they played a weak schedule. Josh Allen should have a decent game, but I think if there's a turnover to be had, Josh Allen's going to make the turnover. Buffalo ranked, think about the quarterback ranked worst, third worst in football when it comes to turnover play. Go with touchdown Patrick Mahomes winning this game. Don't be fooled by the record. Baltimore Ravens, Indianapolis Colts, the Ravens are 3-1. The Colts are 1-3. It's at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, 8:15 p.m. East Coast time on ESPN on Monday, October the 11th. The Ravens are favored by 7, and I'm going to give it to them. I'm impressed with the Ravens defensive coordinator. The defense is doing a great thing, down that pressure. You have Superman Jackson versus the Colts. I like Baltimore. If Tucker has to come in and kick a field goal, they'll do it. They'll most likely win it by a touchdown. I'm not sold at all on Indianapolis trying to right the ship. It's all fair and love and war. We're going to take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout, and come back to say, are you ready for some baseball? Of course we are. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. We'll take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. One more words of the California Governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the Terminator. I'll be sitting on the dock of the bay. I'll be back. We are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 17 podcast applications all over the universe. Really appreciate that, in 4 TV applications. San Francisco is a great place as the traffic is getting thick here in Northern California, waiting for the Dodgers and also the Giants to throw out the first pitch. We're going to hear the pitch. Swallow here deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friend. It's all fair and love and war. I'm gonna do my best version of Village People, and don't laugh but cheer. San Francisco, San Francisco, San Francisco, City by the Bay, San Francisco. Okay, you guys don't like that one? How about this one from Tony Bennett? I left my heart in San Francisco. And I'm going, okay, enough already. This Fiction Podcast. Got some games in Major League Baseball tonight, waiting for the Dodgers and also the Giants. Boston at Tampa, and I'm not going to bring you any scores, but I can tell you my prop betting tells me that pay attention to the pitching of Matt Weisler and also at bat Xander Bogaerts, as well as Matt Weasley. Okay, that's all I can tell you about the Red Sox and the Rays, but I can also tell you, as you know, the Red Sox need a win more than the Rays in this series. Going to fly out of Tampa and going to fly over into Houston. Houston, we have liftoff. William Statler may have had liftoff too. He's having liftoff going in his face at 90 years old. All-star level war. Dusty Baker doing his thing. The Chicago White Sox and Tony La Russa, but maybe he's more no-nos because that good old boys team is going to sleep at the bat. And I can give you the score because it's already over. It's 9-4 Houston. Houston got to win 9-4 over the Chicago White Sox. And the loss going to Aaron Blummer. And then the winning pitcher goes to Ryan Static. So you got to look at Houston. Houston's a very good baseball team. Dusty Baker is doing his thing again. All fair and level more. And now I'm going to take you to Milwaukee as we fly out of the Houston International Airport into Milwaukee. Man, what a great city. Milwaukee and Atlanta. This is a pitcher's battle. The Milwaukee Brewers with a 2-1 win over the Atlanta Braves. The crowd was going amazing for the home crowd from Milwaukee. The losing pitcher goes to Charlie Morton. Had 6 innings pitched, had 2 earned runs, and then 3 hits and 9 strikeouts, 1 base on balls. The crowd was going amazing. The winner is Adrian Hauser. 2 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, no base on balls. So Milwaukee, what a win. They had to get that win, and they were able to get it done. And now, tonight, we're in the City by the Bay. Let's get ready to rumble! We have, man, a great crowd on hand at Oracle Ballpark, San Francisco. The Dodgers are in town, and the Giants are the home team. The pitcher for the Dodgers, they're going to trot out Walker Buehler. He's 16-4, has a 2.47 ERA. He's a Jedi Knight. He's a gunslinger. And the Giants will counter with the home pitcher, 11-3 on the season, has a 2.97 ERA. He's a Jedi Knight. He's a gunslinger, Logan Webb. And those good old boys will be the ones that will lead off the pitching for the Dodgers and the Giants. Both teams come in winning 107 games on the season, but the Giants did theirs in the regular season, and you had the Dodgers having to win that one playoff win. Hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. They had a walk-off win over the St. Louis Cardinals. Man, you got to think the Giants have the edge. The Giants have been resting for a couple of days. The Dodgers have to be, I won't say exhausted, but they just came off of that very tough victory, that series over the St. Louis Cardinals. And, I mean, it went down to the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Runner on second, the pitch. Swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friend. It's all friend level more. It's hard to bring that momentum up north into San Francisco. Giants and Dodgers, arch rivals for the Giants and Dodgers. The first time they've met in the playoffs. They have the best of 5 in the NLDS tonight at Oracle Ballpark in San Francisco. It marks the first time in modern era since 1900 that the Dodgers and Giants franchises have met each other in the playoffs, in the postseason. Give them some praise. It's also a true clash of titans. The Giants during the regular season, 107-55, finished the game ahead of the Dodgers at 106-56. So the Dodgers come to 107 wins with their win over the Cardinals. This NLDS now owns the record for the most combined wins of 213 combined by 2 teams meeting in a playoff series. It's also the first time that the 2 teams winning at least 105 games each during the regular seasons have met in the history of the playoffs. You got to give that some praise. Give it all some praise. Even take some pictures. It's all fair and love and war. I'm telling you, the Giants and the Dodgers, the Giants broke the Dodgers streak of 8 straight division titles. Give the Giants some praise. And they eked out a win over the Cardinals, the Dodgers did in the NL wildcard game. But it's about pitching. It's about hitting. It's about the crowd at Oracle should be nuts. It's nuts as the parking and the crowd is out here Now, the Dodgers finished the regular season with a better run differential than the Giants at plus 269, over 210 for the Giants. Plus, the Dodgers have a deadline addition of Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. They've been amazing for that team. You can argue that LA has a stronger roster on paper, but the Giants have the better win total. So what do you trust, paper or what happened in real life? The Dodgers rotation is missing Clayton Kershaw, who's out for the entire postseason with an elbow injury. That may not be too bad for the Dodgers, but some people think it is. That rotation is not going to be the same without him. Max Scherzer started on Wednesday in the wild card game. He's not going to be pitching right now. And so the Max Muncy has an elbow issue, unlikely to be available for the Dodgers the entire series. On the upside for the Giants, first baseman Brandon Belt, probably not going to play in the series, but they're good anyway. Whatever you think about, it's going to be an intense rivalry, compelling clash in the postseason for the Giants and Dodgers. And what more goes for the Giants? You can give it some praise. In the regular season, the Giants won the series by a narrow margin of 10-9. That means they're a better team. The Dodgers outscored, think about this, the Dodgers outscored them in those games by 80 runs to 78. These teams are evenly matched. What's the telltale sign? It's a best of 5. The Giants have potentially 3 games at home, only 2 at the best of being at Dodger Stadium. If it goes down to the wire the way it has all season, you gotta give the San Francisco Giants the edge, the slight edge, as they'll be sitting on the dock of the bay. Let me change that. Producer, change that. They're gonna be hitting on the dock of the bay, watching the Cubby Cove and that tide of sway. Ooh, they'll be hitting on the dock of the bay, getting to the World Series, the stars tonight, whatever it is. Hey, if the Dodgers win, they've earned it. But it looks like the Giants have everything lined up for them. It's all fair and level war. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's all fair and level war. Everyone, please be safe. It's a great sports weekend. Enjoy it with family and friends. Every day, tell somebody you love them. Every day. Every day. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I can't lose because I've eaten so many big sea burgers. It makes me light on my feet. It makes me float like a butterfly. It makes me sting like a bee. With all these big sea burgers, I rumble, young man, rumble because of the protein. Hey, there's all these exotic meats. It's all fair and level war. You can enjoy the big sea burger also too. As my beautiful mother always says, there's never evidence used for racism or domestic violence. Some people still haven't gotten the clue. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that crap on their own. If you know anybody going through that crap, please pick up the phone and ask for help, because nobody should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. As we always tell you on every Big City Sports Show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day. Man, what a city. I love San Francisco. It's so beautiful. Watching the Cubby Cove, the ball go in. Ooh, hitting on the